Tatiana's first one-take performance in 6 years. She's an incredible one-taker with all sorts of different modes and dynamics. Every one of these is striking. Let's see how far she's come and what new things she's trying with her voice. Shall we?
I want to point and postpone joy in grand refusal of all the pleasures, right and wrong. I crave all pleasures minus pain. Let's have it my way. Let it be no better gain.
First of all, I love that I feel connected to the mic and to the production. Some one takes, yes, they're one take, but they've got a lot of effects on them. And I like that from an artistic standpoint. But we've already heard this song in other settings. I want to hear it as raw as possible. Like, I almost feel like I can feel her breath because it's a dry enough vocal recording. There is compression on it, and that's great, like keeping it there so it's not hitting us in the face too hard when she starts getting a little bit more intense. But I also like that I can hear the compression that she's using in her own voice, getting right on the edge of breakup on her clean singing here. It's tough to hear that when you've got doubles and all sorts of other production around it and delay and too much reverb and too much compression on the mic.
I want to point and postpone joy in grand refusal of all the pleasures, right and wrong. I crave all pleasures minus pain. Let's have it my way.
Let's have it in it. I mean, exaggerating it, but she really started to dig in there on it, and you could hear that dynamic arc. I love this kind of stuff.
Let's have it my way. Let it be no better gain. Drowning in wine, my cup I refill. Indulging in desires, I crave all the thrill. Life is so momentary, love is so brief.
Oh, let's listen to that contrast here.
Desires, I crave all the thrill. Life is so momentary.
It's sort of like, life is so momentary. And then,
Love is so brief.
love. She lengthens, she compresses, and she slides between those two dynamics completely seamlessly.
In desires, I crave all the thrill. Life is so momentary.
She sounds younger and more helpless there. That's the character, that's the emotion that's being communicated. And then there's this confidence and this age that comes in with the raspier, grittier sound. This is what happens when great vocalists pursue dynamic placement and character with their voice instead of just singing notes.
Crave all the thrill. Life is so momentary. Love is so brief. I bask in delight. My opulence, my gift.
And she's communicating these two things by having a little bit more back placement as well as the head voice thing and distortion. She's using vocal techniques to create different characters.
Let it be no pain. Let
Fun slide.
it be no pain. Let it be no pain. Oblivious sleep from dawn till sunset. Just indolence and peace. I feast on all of that. Awakening brings hunger. Desire so intense.
Desire so intense! Ooh, I love how she grew that posture! There's true dynamics here, true expression. Most vocalists don't get this. They don't understand that if you really want to be expressive with your voice and have awesome tone, you have to be really fringy and do things with your voice that sound and feel kind of weird. If you'd like help learning how to sing like this, click the link below in the pinned comment or video description and join my free course. I'll help you take a different route to discovering what your voice can really do.
Awakening brings hunger, desire so intense, unquenchable thirst of pleasures minus pain. Deprivation in exchange for immortality, or unlimited resources of ecstasy, have killed the fear of death and God. But I am far from standing next to decide. I'm not a theorist, I'm an expert in the science of vegetation.
She is so tight when it comes to this technique. Deprivation. I don't hear any primary chord engagement in there at all. This is what most people would consider a false chord technique, where the area above your primary chords are vibrating like this at a much slower frequency than your primary chords are even capable of vibrating at. But she has her primary chords out of the way. Here's what that looks like in my voice.
Gosh, she's really selling.
But the reason Tatiana's technique sounds so much tighter and together is because she's learned to hone additional constrictions above her false chords, getting her aretinoids involved, creating more resonance and placement at the source. That's why it's so meaty.
Exchange for immortality, or unlimited resources of ecstasy, have killed the fear of death and God.
And what she's doing there, and why it transitions to sounding so much tighter and higher simultaneously, is she's changing her mouth shape quite a bit, so placing the sound coming out of her mouth differently. But she's raising the sensation of constriction, passing off in a very balanced way from pure false chord engagement to using a bit more upper constriction, while still having her false chords be vibrating. No. A little bit more upper constriction with the aretinoids, while maintaining the false chord engagement and blending those, balancing those two together with masterful synergy when it comes to her mouth shapes.
But I am far from standing next to decide. I'm not a theorist, I'm an expert in the science of vegetation. I'm a stranger to restrictions and my purpose to existence.
It just catches me off guard every single time I hear her, especially in this kind of setting, because it's so removed from her singing voice. And I love it when little things like this creep in just a little bit. You get a tiny bit of her primary chords, her true voice coming through. It's all over existence. You hear her talking, going up to or abandoning in to her scream. Lots of vocalists in this style do that, but because the contrast between her spoken or sung voice and her screams are so, that chasm is so wide, it's extra fun when we get to hear little snippets like that.
Yesterday's all the delicacy of life. The kind of happiness, of pleasure quintessence. Bottomless delight is a nature human right. Of pleasure quintessence. Forget a consequence.
So I feel like I can learn so much more, not only about a vocalist and what their approach is, but it feels more realistic for me to experiment in my own voice based on what I'm hearing, because I'm not competing with a bunch of effects or vocal comping or pitch correction or whatever it is, or layers.
Deterrent as an enemy of life.
There was another really good example of how she's like varying the height of and broadness of her constriction on life as well as the mouth shape. There it is again, just beautiful. And there's almost this like head voice connection, head voice posture up there, even though there's no note being formed by the primary chords that's anywhere close to prominent anyway.
Searching for something new, but the margins never close.
It's like a clinic. I love this stuff.
Ground chords.
Ugh. So fun. I've learned over the years that how I listen to music and what I choose to listen for can be incredibly empowering. Big studio performances with all sorts of things going on, they don't feel empowering to me. Maybe inspiring in some ways, but I'm disconnected from the actual performances. And that's why I love one takes. I come away from this going, she is absolutely incredible, but I can continue to practice and continue to have fun listening as a fan and kind of just enjoy the process of learning new things about my own voice. Again, if you'd like help doing that, click the link below in the pinned comment or video description. And be sure to check out this video if you want more of my Ginger analysis.